If you want to hit the ball solidly, you have to get your club head underneath the plane line. So let's go ahead and jump right into this and understand exactly how the plane line works. It's a very simple concept, but if we don't understand it, everything we're about to go over in this drill that's going to massively help you come into this ball correctly is a little bit easier to understand if we do understand the plane line. So if we go ahead and draw the line up through the hosel of the club, up through the base of the elbow, that's going to be our plane line. Anything on the top of the side of the plane would be over the plane. Anything on the bottom side would be under the plane. So if my club head is down here, I'm under the plane. My club head is up here, I'm over the plane. Now when I talk about hitting the ball solidly on the target line, what that means is if my club head is over this plane on the downswing, I can hit this ball solidly, but it cannot start down my target line. It's going to start left if I hit it solidly. What I'm going to have to do, is what I see a ton of players do all the time, is lead the face open, and then we're going to cut across the ball, and it just results in just such a glancing blow, and everything's weak. A lot of things happen. You can stand up. There's a lot of things that go on. So what we need to understand is that we want that club head underneath the plane line. When it's underneath the plane line, then with the natural rotation of the swing, it can come into the ball, hit the ball solidly, and start down the target line. So it at least gives us the ability to hit this ball solid where we're aiming. That's one of our biggest pieces of the swing we have to have if we're going to be consistent and we're going to have a fundamentally sound swing. So where you're most likely messing up when you're working on this is focusing in a little bit too much on the club head. Yes, we want that club head underneath the plane line, but what you're most likely not focusing in on is body movement and things that cause this club to go over the plane line. So this drill that we're going to go over is going to help with two things. It's going to help us first and foremost get a movement that's going to allow that to happen much easier. And as a secondary bonus, just kind of as a byproduct, when I'm working with my students, it helps us maintain our posture so much better in the swing. So we know this dreaded early extension where the pocket starts coming towards the ball and we stand up. This drill tends to help out with that a lot as well. So we're going to get kind of two for the price of one in this drill, where we're going to understand our body movement that's going to allow us to help us get that club head under the plane, but also staying in posture. So let's go ahead and jump right into this drill. So this drill, I like to use a chair for this drill. I always like using a chair for a lot of things because it's something we always have around. You can use your ball bag, you can use a bag stand, anything really helps. But you want to make sure you set this up correctly. So what we're going to be going over here is how to move the body to get the club head under the plane. And we're going to take the hands, arms, and clubs out of it so we give our body a chance to get this club head under the plane. So we can see here in other drills, let's just imagine we're making a swing and we're trying to come underneath the plane. I can stand up, do everything wrong, and actually execute getting my club head underneath the plane line. But that's not what we want to do. We don't want to just get the club head under the plane. We also want our body to be able to support solid, consistent golf. So what we're going to do is we're going to get our body to move in a way that's going to allow that to happen so much more easily. So what we're going to do is we're going to set this up very simple. We are going to set this up on our toe line. So we want the top of our structure here to be on our toe line here from the down the line view. And we also want it to be about hip height, and then from the face on view, just off of our back hip. So if you hit those 3 checkpoints, this is going to be set up nicely. And then what I love about this drill is it's so simple. What you're going to do is take a club, put the club head on your lead shoulder, and leave a ton of room off your back shoulder so that we have an extension of our shoulders. This is going to show us our shoulder plane in the swing. And what we're going to do is we're going to get into our setup position. Now this is key. Before we do anything else, we need to make sure we have a spine angle away from the target. So if you're familiar with the stable fluid spine course in the Top Speed Golf system, that is a vital course to make sure that you are set up to make this so much easier. If our spine is straight up and down, or even worse, tilted towards the target, this drill and getting the club head under the plane becomes so much more difficult to work on. So once we have this set up and we have our spine tilted away from the target, again, this is going to be tilted away from the target the entire swing, is we are going to take this back and we're going to take the club, the extension of the club, and we are going to make sure we move so that the extension of the club misses the chair or misses whatever we're putting by us. So I'm sure you've seen drills where we get the club head to miss this. Now we're going to teach our body how to move so that it'll support this, because you'll see when we add this into the full swing, it makes it very, very easy to come under the plane. So again, we have our spine angle, we're going to turn, and then from here, you're going to see the secondary thing. I have to maintain my posture in order to get this club, or to get the extension of the club to miss this chair. If I stand up out of my posture, I'm going to hit that chair. So my shoulders can move correctly, but if I lose my posture, I'm not going to be able to execute this drill correctly. So what this is going to do, it's going to give us a good feel for how the body wants to work through the swing. And once we have a feel for how the body needs to work through the swing, we've done, I would say get a good 100, 200 repetitions on that, really feel how the body moves. And now what we're going to do is make some easy swings with that same feel in the body movement. So let's go ahead and do one right here. So I'm going to use that same exact sensation. It's even good when you're practicing to get a couple of those feels. Really imagine that chair is there, and you're going to feel how your pockets stay back and the shoulder works under so that you can see how much this is going to promote that club head coming underneath the plane. So all I'm going to do now is make an easy swing. I don't even really care too much where the ball goes. And we're going to check our plane line. We're going to check and make sure that club head is coming underneath the plane. So nice little easy swing. Very, very smooth. And I could tell that I felt that same sensation. Man, wow, that feels really, really good. This is something I drilled a lot in my swing that massively helped with, again, the two big things. It massively helped with my path, and then again, it was kind of like a 2-for-1 bonus. I started staying down so much longer in my posture. Now, once we have that feel and we can make some easy swings, and we can do two things. We can make sure we stay down better and the club head is underneath the plane. Then we can start speeding it up, and what you're going to notice is when you get under the plane for the first time, or if you're, struggle with it, maybe sometimes you do, sometimes you don't, and you stay in posture, these balls are going to be starting off a lot more solid, and you're going to be able to play a lot more consistent golf, because when you aim at a target and you hit a ball solidly on your target line, it's so much easier. It's just almost like throwing darts versus, just kind of slinging one out there and hoping for the best. It's a completely different ball game. So get really good, get used to that drill. Make sure your body is moving correctly, and then always make sure you're checking your plane line so that club head is coming down from underneath the plane. There we go, very nice, 171 total distance with an 8-iron, and that's just a training swing. Now you can see if we come from underneath the plane, you can see this is just 1.9 degrees to the right. Very nice. I would take this on every single swing, but if that is underneath the plane, entering into the ball, beautiful energy into the ball, easy swing, gets lots of distance. If you do this and you're patient enough from the top of the swing to allow your body to work correctly, just like this drill forces you to do, then you are going to not only pick up your consistency, you're going to pick up that nice effortless power. Now, one of the biggest things that can throw this drill completely off is something that I see all the time, and what you're probably doing in the swing, which is rushing from the top. Now, it's not exactly one of those things where you can just say, hey, I'm just going to stop rushing from the top. There's a move in your mind that'll keep you from being patient in the downswing, and if you're not aware of this rushing move where you start trying to pull the club down, it makes it almost impossible to get this club under the plane. You can save it, but you're going to have to make some serious compensations, which immediately makes us lose our consistency. Now, head instructor and owner Clay Ballard has a great drill that's going to show you exactly what that move is that's keeping you from being patient from the top of the backswing, and show you exactly how to start getting that club to shallow out properly so that you can take advantage of all the repetitions you've just done on this drill and let everything work together. So that's getting the club and the body to do the correct things. If we have those two things, then there's just no way our ball striking is going to reach another level. So what I want you to do is go ahead and make sure you click on the video that's popping up in the top portion of the screen right now. If you don't see the link to that video, there should be an iCard up there. If you don't see that, make sure you click on the link that's in the description below, and he'll show you exactly how to make sure you eliminate that move so that you stop rushing from the top and you can take advantage of these beautiful body mechanics. All right, we'll see you here in the next lesson.
Now the bottom line is that if you pull this club down to ring that bell or pull the hands more from the inside, what's going to happen is you start to rush your downswing from that pulling, and that can throw off your sequence. And we all know that once your sequence gets off, that is going to be the root cause of all your problems. Now, maybe you're being outdriven way too often, or you're terribly inconsistent with your strikes. Some of your shots are heavy, some of them are thin, some of them are off the toe, and then the next ones are way off the hill. Now you end up way over in the trees, you're in the tall grass, or maybe even the hazards all day long, and it really comes down to this. Clay, how in the heck do we fix it? Well, there's some good news. Well, there's only two things that you need to learn. First, you need to learn to shallow the club rather than pulling the hands down and getting the shaft in this steep position. You see, there's another way that the pros do this, and once you start to get that club on this shallower plane, more from the inside, then you pair that up with the right way to square the club face. And once you put these two things together, everything starts to fit in your swing. Now your buddies will start to get a little bit jealous because you'll start hitting solid, longer drives, time after time, and round after round. Now I'm going to teach you this right now in what I call the E-slot technique. Let's walk through exactly how to do it. So here's what I want you to do. Go ahead and take a swing to the top and get in a really good position. I want you to feel like your weight is mostly shifted to your right side and that your hips and shoulders are nice and free. I don't want to be locked up here. I want my knees to move, my hips to move. And that's going to allow me to swing my shoulders very nicely. Now, one thing that most people get wrong when they swing to the top is they don't get this tilt away from the target. So instead of being straight up and down or leaning to the left, I want to be slightly tilted away in what I call the stable fluid spine in my topspeed golf system. Okay, so now that you're at this great position at the top of the swing, what I want you to do is instead of pulling those arms straight down or ringing the bell, that's going to get the club shaft steep and get this elbow kind of flapping behind your body. I want you to do something very specific. I want you to take the tip of your elbow and move it in a specific way. Now, not this small bone on the inside of your elbow, but I want it to be right here at the tip, and here's what I want you to do.